All right, cool. Yeah, we're live. I guess I don't know. Wait till we see a little bit of numbers. Let me go and get the rock fan up and connected. How did the game go?
Wow. We split today, so we have one. We have one till we win with the next round. You know what I mean? So, but it was all right. Definitely, it was competitive. Second game we lost by 4, so I mean it was real close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. There we go. We got some people starting to file in. I see Baba. Baba, we definitely are going to address that comment. Um, Definitely. But I figured, we're gonna try to mix it up a little bit, and I got a feeling that we're gonna have news flying at us really fast over the next few months. And so I figured, you know what, before things get crazy, we'll get in, we'll get in another battle. I mean, another little DJ battle, have a little fun. I gotta figure out how people be doing them polls. How do you put a poll in the chat? Because I would like to put a poll out there for those coming in, and I guess Chris, put it in the chat.
Warren can probably tell you how. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably know how to. I want everybody to kind of put in, what they listen to on a regular. That way, I can incorporate that into my thinking as a DJ. Like we say all the time, a good DJ, they don't always play everything they listen to, but they know how to feel out the room and get it going. So how's this week been, sir? Before we, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and kick the intro. That'll give me some time to go run and grab some coffee, get my stuff all the way situated. Let everybody get in here. We're gonna play some music on the rock fan after. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And put that on the screen. Yeah, everybody, we're gonna do this first half. We're gonna get the news done. It's like you guys got to eat your vegetables first, and then we go on to the main course and dessert. So yeah, we're gonna. What was that?
The streets. Down the road because we're gonna play some music.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, make sure to get
just
it.
Do it. I know it's giving you problems, but come on, just work with us for tonight, streets.
Just work with us. Work with us. Give us a shot. All right. So let me get this intro going. Mute up my mic.
You were here because you have a question. Really get down to understanding this political matrix.
Out there, the stunt double. He walked out. He's got an oximeter on his back. I'm like, you gotta keep other. Marcus said on his other show. He was like, American politics is simply pro wrestling.
You became afraid of everyone because people were reporting on each other.
We're living out Minority Report too as well. And you know what? You know why we know that, boss? Because we've been reporting on it. Yeah, I know.
All the black people in this country be willing to take a reservation.
That's what the Nation of Islam was asking for.
To put a couple of clips together.
It's crazy to see how much Martin Luther King really began to look like, damn, man, Malcolm was fucking right.
I mean, what is the elite's end game?
There's this assumption that as a black commentator or black journalist that you're not informed.
Relationships, that's a skill we have to learn. It's even more kind of mind-blowing because we're supposed to be the multicultural space.
Trying to drum up money to keep the war machine going so they can keep the donors happy.
Do the Chinese own part of that?
This began a long time ago. Ukraine has had a neo-Nazi problem for decades.
Proof of sanction, am I right?
I don't know if domcopters will do it, but something's got to be able to save the world.
From the private industry here.
Like I say, people come on here, they can say stuff they don't normally say on their own shows, which is fine.
Oh, it's McDonald's. Whoop-de-doo.
Ooh.
And their cholesterol is going to go down. Yeah, good.
Look, we only exist because we have the biggest military, kid.
And silencing a person like Julian Assange. Because it affects everybody. And today, last week,
believe you me, because they know who you are. They watch. They got people that's going out there. They don't want you guys having the conversations that you're having on this show. So it affects the political matrix today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Got my mic off for a moment. As you guys can see, we got a couple of topics to hop into tonight. We're going to talk. Guess I'll just speak a little bit louder. Turn my mic off for a moment, save it, because I didn't charge it this time. So have fun with that. We're going to get into a little bit about, I guess, let's see, what is it? Senate minority leader. I guess he's I'm not sure. I've gotten so out of focus what's been going on with Congress that I don't even know who's in the majority and minority. But Chuck Schumer, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk a little bit about J6, and then of course the DJ battle, and then there was something else we're gonna talk a little bit about. I didn't really want to put it in the title. Let's just call it CVD 91. Hopefully y'all can understand what that's talking about. And then I don't know exactly where Chris is gonna go with it on that one. So I'll catch it live, you know. It's kind of a role reversal. Normally I'll be throwing some curveballs at him, so now he gets to throw a couple at me and see how I react. And yes, Thomas, good to see you here. It's round 2. I want to hit Baba's comment real quick. Let me double check the rock inside.
Yeah, look, you know, it's Saturday. People have been watching this stuff all week. You know, this is pretty much fresh. So I mean, I think we may as well just jump right into this one.
Oh, go ahead.
Because that you're gonna
Oh, what was that? You kind of cut in and out.
No, I was asking if you were going to start with her comment.
Yeah. I wanted to start with her comment first.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
Okay, so let's go ahead and put it on the screen and read it. Because this is big news. I don't know if everybody knows how big of a news this is, but Baba says, holy shit, China brokered a deal that Iran and Saudi Arabia restored diplomatic ties. The Duran asked today if it is possible to say China has become the superpower now. USA ain't brokering, they be breaking. I would say that not quite yet. That China is a superpower. Now, have they taken over as the number one hegemony? Not quite, but they're close. See, what they've already done is they're already speeding past with the on the economic side. They're already you know, as far as their surveillance state and all the different metrics you see as far as superpowers, they're already moving ahead of us in those areas. Their school systems, they're already ahead of us there. They are firming up partnerships. I'm not saying that they're fair partnerships. I just want to put that out there for anybody who's like the big China, you know, China hawks. They're doing deals with Africa. I'm not saying they're all fair. Some of them, I think that they're being a little nefarious, but that's up for people in Africa to decide that and allow them in or out of their country or how they structure these deals. But China is definitely stepping up in a lot of major ways. And the US, the only thing that's really holding them, I can't even really say US because you can't look at it as the US is by itself. The US with the backing of EU, NATO, and Israel is one side of the token. And then you have the Eastern Order, which is starting to get a little bit more backing from, you know, the global South. So you got more and more of Latin America and and Africa, who are getting more and more involved with the East than the West. So yeah, you do see shift by shift by shift. Like I say all the time, it's like an aircraft carrier. Aircraft carrier takes 2 miles to stop. So it might have hit the brakes. It's just taking a while for you to see it come all the way to that full stop. And that's kind of what's going on, throughout the world with the stuff that's going on between the East and West. So, well, what's your thoughts, Chris?
Well, I wanted when I saw the headlines, I went to the internet, of course, right? And once I Googled the deal, right, you see the usual players: CNN, NBC, ABC, Fox, blah 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 blah. So I couldn't decide whose spin I wanted to read, right? Because I was like, it's going to be bullshit anyway. So then I just decided I said, fuck it, let me just go to Times of Israel, right? Because if anybody's going to give you, if anybody's going to tell you what that deal is and what it's not, it's going to be them, right? Because they not. You said what?
Them and Haaretz.
I'm just saying they're going to tell you what that deal is and what it means for them, right? Because for them, they're all important. So they always have to make sure they are, aware of what's going on and, how it will affect them. So I read the I skimmed through the Times of Israel article. I guess the Netanyahu's people in Israel are calling this the biggest policy failure ever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, that sounds like stupid political talk like here, right? So I don't put much on that. The one thing I will note is that the negotiations between Saudi Arabia and Israel, with their diplomatic ties, them getting closer and shit like that, was based on Saudi Arabia help Israel their Iran problem or Iran problem, however you want to say it, right? So I don't know how this leaves those negotiations, but obviously they'll have to still continue their negotiations. But they, the cards are shuffled, and now we're dealing with a new hand, right? So that'll be something very interesting to look at as we go forward. More information about the deal. They already had this deal in place, right? There was already a security and economic agreement between the Saudis and the Iranians, but that was broken whenever they cut ties. So basically, China stepped in and made them reestablish those agreements that they had. So we'll see how this goes. I do expect a lot of big talk from Netanyahu. Just see his name from. Because that's what he does. He always talks big and bold and bad. So we'll see. But I don't expect any actions to take place. Marcus, I think the other thing that would be interesting is if this has any effect on the Yemen situation. Because now you have the two major backers of that proxy war situation, right? So do they decide to put that on pause too? That's also something we have to look at. I mean, this could be a good thing if they decide to stop, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that like we say all the time, all this shit is interconnected. It's all interconnected. And so one move over here in Saudi Arabia is something that's going to affect something in Eastern Europe. Something that happens in DC affects something that's going to happen, in Yemen. All of these things are connected. Mr. Street says U.S. and Israel is about to bomb Iran nuclear facilities. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They've been doing it over and over. He said they're trying to partner up with Iran before we do. I don't think that's ever going to happen. That will never happen. Not Iran with the U.S. and Israel. Iran hates both of them. I mean, he hates both of them with a passion. I mean, Israel every 5 minutes is killing somebody in Iran through drone strikes and blowing up a building there. I mean, and Iran's already said, like, yo, y'all keep fucking around and we about to, I mean, so Iran has been making numerous threats for years. And then what Trump did, killing Qasem Soleimani, that they haven't forgiven that at all. I mean, and I think us as Americans don't, I mean, we forget about that. But I mean, I tell people, it's like, imagine if, trying to think of somebody who was like super beloved. Let's say before Kobe passed. Let's say Kobe got elevated to top general, and he became the vice president, and he was head of the State Department all in one. That's or you know what? Better example. How about Oprah? If Oprah had the power of the vice president and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and we found out some other country blew up her motorcade and killed Oprah, how do you think people in America would feel about that? I mean, it's on that same kind of level. I mean, I know some people are like, oh, you don't know Oprah, but that, I mean, I'm trying to think of if America even has anybody that's like really beloved like that. Like Michael Jackson. What if we found out that when Michael Jackson, you know, his death, it was traced back to some foreign country sent that doctor in, and it was actually a assassination made to look like an accident. If we all found out all of a sudden that Turkey was behind that the next day, we would want smoke with Turkey. And that's kind of the same situation, but they know they know exactly who killed him. The only thing is the U.S. power dynamic, they can't really go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to look over you. That's just my viewpoint on it. I don't know. I don't know. We might have to have you on here debate a little bit. But it's still all up.
I would say that Iran would have been attacked. I mean, well, the chances of that would have been slim, but I think now it's, you know, those plans definitely are to be on pause if we're talking about money dealings and security dealings, you know, with China and Saudi Arabia. You know what I'm saying? China's not about to like be part of that. They sent their top diplomat there to negotiate this deal. So that should tell you something about, you know, China's, I mean, at least how they wanted to present themselves. You know what I mean?
Oh, I missed my bad, Mr. Streets. I misunderstood. You said not Israel and U.S. with Iran. He's talking about Russia and China. Oh, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, if they do actually, if that links up, Streets, then Iran will actually have the backing to be able to push back and operate the way Israel's been able to operate. And then things get interesting because Iran definitely want the smoke, but they know it's one of those, it's like, even if you win the fight, you're going to lose a whole lot in that fight. And now that they got better,
now if you cool. But now Riyadh got skin in the game, right? Because before they were able to stand back and be like, oh, well, that's between them. Yeah. Now they got skin in the game, and they're still actually, you know, in deals. I mean, they're announcing deals with Israel, like, you know, several times last year, maybe a year before. So, I mean, we'll see how this all pans out.
It's funny. We were telling Streets.
I wonder if this puts any.
I was gonna say, it's funny, we're telling Streets to bear with us on the Rockfin side, and right now I'm trying to look on the Rockfin side. I can't see no comments, so apologies to anybody who's over there. I gotta see if I can buffer this thing, do something with it, but I'm not seeing no. Or maybe nobody said anything yet. I see 5 people over there. Just want to make sure that You know, if somebody is commenting, then I just haven't seen it. I'm having some problems on my end. It's showing that we're live. I had to check my phone just to even be able to see it. But there's no problem. I just want to make sure you knew I wasn't on. Oh, okay. I just want, yeah. I definitely agree that, and in all honesty, if they felt like they could, you know, cool some leaders over there in Iran and put a puppet in there and try to do what they did like back in the days before the Shah, I think that they would try to do that again. Because the one thing I tell people is never underestimate the arrogance of the U.S. and the West. Never underestimate it. Their arrogance has no bounds. That's the reason why we're heading towards World War III as we speak. Let's read this Baba comment real quick. It says Jackson Hinkle just said Netanyahu is based like Z, which I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to that term because, like, when I read the Bible, based in the Bible means you're like low, like a base is the bottom. So a based man is like saying one who's beneath, basic. That's not saying a good thing. So it gets a little confusing with these terms. But it says, I'm perplexed. What would make Netanyahu based? For the record, I don't use that stupid word. I'm just repeating. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, these terms are weird for me, which a lot of these people use. But I'm looking at. I don't do this very often, and it's kind of crazy that this will be the second time I'm talking about another content creator in a not so positive light. But in all honesty, I mean, Jackson can take it however he wants to if he hears this, which I doubt he does. Even if he does, I doubt he cares. He just seems like he's just trying to be a chameleon and kind of go with which crowd that he thinks is going to pump his views. I mean, he's just, I don't know, he throws stuff at the wall and then he's like, oh, well, this is testing high with the numbers, so let me just focus a whole lot on it. And if you have the times, some of these content creators who have full time off doing this, you can literally sit there and just listen to a whole bunch of Colonel McGregor and listen to a bunch of other people who have more knowledge than you, and then get on there and talk like you know what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let me shut up. Let me not go any further. You take over, Chris.
Yeah, no, we're good. I don't know in what world or universe you would have anything good to say about Benjamin Netanyahu. You know what I mean? Just as a political figure, I don't know what redeeming qualities he has or what positive things he's done that you could actually look at that guy or reference him and say, oh, he's based or any other. I mean, he's a pawn just like the rest. You know what I'm saying? He just talks a little bit more and a little bit louder than the others, you know? That's really all I got to say about that. I don't really care who said it, but
I look more,
you know, it is.
I look at him as less like a pawn, because a pawn would imply like he's been manipulated and he don't know that he's being manipulated. Like what he is he's like one of
well, he's like this. He's like
a who's enthusiastic about his mission. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Chris.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, I'm just saying he's he's like pro company all day, like the company first over his family. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, streets, we got you. If it don't work for you, we definitely have that OJ's plan. But Chris, did you want to get into what was it? Whichever one of the topics you wanted to get into, whether it was Congress, whether it was Chucky Schumer, or J6. I'm gonna step away real quick and go.
Yeah,
but I'll be right back. Yeah, go on.
I mean, they all kind of tie together, right?
Yeah.
All these topics most of the topics that we put in the show's title, they all kind of tie together. You know, obviously not so much the music part, but the audience. Most of you all watch independent media. You're on Twitter. You're on social media. So, you know, I don't want to just keep making you guys watch videos that you saw on Monday or Tuesday and it's now Saturday night. So I'm going to speak to you guys as if you already know, like you're already up to date, right? Let's just think of it as like one episode, like a series that just has multiple episodes. I mean, yeah, multiple episodes. With that being said, I'm sure most of you have seen, or at least by now heard of the Tucker Carlson video from earlier this week, where he showed footage from the January 6th guided tour. That's how I like to call it. You know, the police were walking with that shaming guy, you know, to do with the horn shit and the loud, the bullhorn and shit. Police were walking with them throughout the Capitol, offering to open doors and all this other shit. And I want to say that we didn't necessarily need that footage for a lot of us to feel how we did already, because in this particular event, as we watched it live, as it unfolded, it was very clear that it was in fact a guided tour. It didn't take, you know, a whole bunch of research by independent researchers and reporters and journalists and shit like that. The media themselves put out a piss poor product, and you know, they sold it to some of our family members. And shit is kind of fucked up that it worked, because it was so bootleg. You know, it's like them bootleg movies that come on Cinemax, you know, like after 12 back in the day. Like if you watch like a regular movie like The Rock, y'all remember that, with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery? Remember? So like you would that would come on like 9 o'clock, you'd fall asleep and you'd wake up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's some kind of it's either a corny ass action movie or it's some softcore porn shit. But anyway, that's what the January 6th insurrection looked like to me, like a D-list movie on Skinemax at like 2:30 in the morning on a Friday or Saturday night. What's interesting, Chuck Schumer decided to take his old ass onto the floors of Congress and to cry about Tucker Carlson showing this video. Again, the Democrats, I mean, I hate to break it down like this, but we're just going to do it just, you know, just for shit's sake. The Democrats think their base is as dumb as the conservatives that they talk about are even dumber. So they're asking you to take the footage you saw there and just say, no, I don't believe it. And just, you know, believe what we're telling you. You know, never mind what you're seeing. Just believe what we're telling you. I mean, he literally stood, we're paying our taxes. Marcus, do something about the album phone. Oh, okay, never mind. You know, our taxes go towards, you know, these people's salary, you know, for them to get up there and to cry about what some cable host said. You know, it's kind of wild. At the end of the day, Schumer didn't have to say anything. You know why? Because that base, no matter what they see, what they hear, what kind of new information is presented to them, they're not going to move from their position. So I just want to say, like most things, your gut is not entirely wrong. But however, I want to say, just because they made this one obvious and it was easy to point to say, oh, look there's a discrepancy here. This shit looks funny here, so on and so forth. The other operations they will be a little bit tighter. And, you know, you'll have to, you know, pay more attention. So I just want to say, like, don't jump the gun every time, right? Be like, I knew it. Just let's slow down, wait as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know me, that J6 stuff, I kind of just was tuned out on a lot of it, because it's that, and I also kind of tie that in, like the J6 and Congress stuff, in with the whole, I know you guys have seen it a gazillion times with the Matt Taibbi Congress and can't believe which Caribbean
Warren
country.
remember Cinema After Dark.
Warren, no, of course. Warren was recording it on his VCR. I don't know what I can do about it, Yipper. Which I could. Damn. This police coming to get me. So let me mute that. It's loud. All right, good. They must have went right down my street. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. Oh, what's up to Warren out there? But yeah, Skinamax exactly. Oh, what I was gonna say is the can somebody please? I don't care who does it, but somebody get Debbie Wasserman Schultz a new hairstyle. That you make too much money for your hair to look that shitty for this damn long. It's fucking horrible. Somebody to do something about, I don't know, that pubic perm. That
they really brought out, Doug. They really brought her out, and given your very public role in the fucker that is the Democratic primaries, they really put her out there to complain about a cable news host.
She's a
John Yipper. What's going on? How y'all doing?
She's such a joke. And shout out to him, Carr. I see him, Carr, over there. I be trying to get back to him, Carr. It be messing with me on Rock Band when I be trying to respond to him. I just need to get him Carr's email or something and respond to him that way. But I mean, it just cracked me up with the whole Twitter files, how they were making such a big deal about it and flipping out and everything. I mean, just like in this space, I mean, like if anybody just took, and looked at like the algorithm of stuff which I'm looking up and researching, it's easy for you to draw conclusions, but that doesn't mean that everything that I watch that I accept the whole beliefs of it, especially in totality. I mean, I was always taught, you look at the whole thing, you analyze it, you pick out the facts that matter, and you toss away the rest that's not any good. And I mean, it's the same thing with Matt Taibbi and any actual journalists. I mean, they're going to take information from every source and vet it. And just because they get it from different sources doesn't mean that's the only source they even get the info from. So see John there. What's up? Shout out to John. I don't know. I had one other thing that I wanted to throw out there. Let me see if I can pull it up on my Twitter. Just give. Oh shoot, got more of that Beetlejuice stuff still sitting there.
You said Beetlejuice?
I had Beetlejuice Lightfoot sitting there. Had to get rid of that.
Oh wow!
But let me go to my other page, and I'm gonna put up this tweet which I just did, having to do with what's her name? What the hell is it? Man, Twitter been acting weird today for me. Let's see. Let me go into replies. Maybe that's how it's like with some of my own tweets. I got to go under the different clicks to be able to see it. Before you can just hit profile, and it'll show you everything that you had up.
Oh,
now it's not.
Yeah, I made the mistake and updated the app.
I'm not offended. Sometimes. So here, let me put it on the screen real quick. Something with Marianne. See, because Marianne Williamson, you guys know she supports reparations, but I always wonder, like, what do you mean you support reparations? What does that entail? Chris, do you know what the numbers that she's talking about are?
No, and it doesn't matter. But please tell us, though.
Yes. When I saw this, I was like, "What? Seriously?" So this was my tweet responding to somebody. This guy, Johnny was going back and forth with him, and he said, "Person says you are no less more entitled to your opinion." So I decided, well, since you two aren't entitled to an opinion, let me hop in. I guess I'll show you before who was saying what. This was going into Marianne Williams. Should I show the clip, Chris, to give some context to what this is even talking about?
Go ahead.
It's only a minute for you.
You could do that.
This is what I'm.
Yeah, it's not long.
Thank you, Congressman Rourke. Speaking of reparations, Miss Williamson, many of your opponents support a commission to study the issue of reparations for slavery, but you are calling for up to $500 billion in financial assistance. What makes you qualified to determine how much is owed in reparations?
Well, first of all, it's not $500 billion in financial assistance. It's $500 billion, $200 to $500 billion payment of a debt that is owed. That is what reparations is. We need some deep truth telling when it comes. We don't need another commission to look at evidence. I appreciate what Congressman O'Rourke has said. It is time for us to simply realize that this country will not heal. All that a country is a collection of people. People heal when there's some deep truth telling. We need to recognize that when it comes to the economic gap between blacks and whites in America, it does come from a great injustice that has never been dealt with. That great injustice has had to do with the fact that there was 250 years of slavery, followed by another 100 years of domestic terrorism. What makes me qualified?
Now, I just stop it there because all that's good, right? All that's solid. I agree 1,000% with everything she says there, but let's keep listening a little bit more.
To say 200 to $500 billion, I'll tell you what makes me qualified. If you did the math of the 40 acres and a mule, given that there was 4 to 5 million slaves at the end of the Civil War, there were 4 to 5, and they were all promised 40 acres and a mule for every family of 4. If you did the math today, it would be trillions of dollars.
Now get that. Let's read that again. If you did the math today, that would be trillions of dollars, right? Trillions of dollars. Now keep in mind, she just said 200 billion to 500 billion is what she's trying to get in her plan. Let's continue. But keep in mind, it would be trillions of dollars.
And I believe that anything less than $100 billion is an insult. And I believe the 200 to 500 billion is politically feasible today because so many Americans realize there is an injustice that continues to form a toxicity under.
All right. So 100 billion would be an insult. So let's go to my tweet. Let's go to my tweet. Let's see. Because Johnny here says, one of the reasons I can't take her seriously, 500 billion isn't even enough to scratch the surface. Most estimations start in the tens of trillions, which include money to rebuild social infrastructure that's missing, as well as check in hand. Let's see. So this is where that back and forth goes. And this is when I hop in down here. So I said, if the measure she proposes was enacted, there would be no coming back to it. This would be considered a done deal. So the mindset of piece by piece is not realistic. We would be stuck with the amount she got passed. And so here's my tweet before that. I said, is 4,500 to 11,400 serious or just pandering for votes? This tweet was like, I added Marianne Williamson, which I definitely know she won't respond to. Says, at Marianne Williamson acknowledged that trillions are old, but says 1 billion would be an insult. 2 to 500 billion supposedly isn't an insult because it's politically feasible. What is 200 to 500 billion divided by 44 million? And I asked, is this a one-time payment? Is my math correct here? And you guys can tell me, and is my math correct here? 200 billion divided by 44 million comes to $4,545. The 500 billion comes to $11,363. So $4,500, about $11,400 is what she's saying is the debt that would be owed. That would be enough to deal with reparations, which we know if you did that instantly, especially most of these conservatives are like, well, we already paid you your reparations. So with that said, What are your thoughts on that when you get the numbers? She's talking about checks of 4,500 to 1,100.
How often are these checks supposed to be going out?
This is a one-time shot. That's not. I'm like, that's not an insult. I get it. You know, it's not politically feasible to do it in any kind of meaningful, respectful manner. So what you decide you want to do is you want to pander, in my eyes, to manipulate the black vote. I don't know. Am I wrong, y'all? Let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong.
Yeah, my silence is what I had to say. I mean,
When you hear the amount, it's kind of like, wow, for real? That's your proposal?
I mean, again, what they say, you don't argue with stupid.
Yeah, I
right.
mean,
But at the end of the day, you know what this is, though. It's yet again the Democrats doing what the Democrats do, doing a little goofy shit to keep a certain percentage of the black vote. And they didn't have to do it from the time Obama ran to the time he ended, whatever. His existence alone brought that. But after the fact, we've seen a lot of stupid, excuse me, stupid things been done by the Democrats. Look, this is Kente Clough kneeling. That's what this is.
Because you guys really while I'm looking down, I'm checking. I got the rock fan on my phone too because I wasn't seeing it on the screen. Yeah, banks. Him card. That's an interesting thing you brought up about the banks because I saw a comment that was like, "Should I respond? Should I respond?" I won't say because I don't want this to be looked at like I'm trying to come at this person in any kind of way. But I saw somebody who's like, we should just nationalize the banks. And I'm thinking, but how? I mean, it's fine to do a lot of things. I want $1 million. But that me wanting and making it happen are two different damn things. Sorry, that was a little off topic. But when I saw that comment from Hempcar says, if you find out your grandpa was robbed and you find the robber on a deathbed confession, can't you get your inheritance? Yes, you can. If your parent fought in the war, don't you get a certain benefits for duty? Yes, you do. And it's the same. So you're saying that having multiple ancestors that had to go through like crazy amounts of stuff, that's the numbers you come up with. Now I could be wrong. I'm seeing here, let me put Thomas' comment on the screen. Thomas says on Marianne candidate website, she is talking about $1 trillion or more in reparations to be paid out over a period of 20 years. It will decrease if she makes the general. Oh, of course, definitely would decrease if she made it to the general. And if she got elected, it would decrease even more. We already know once he got the deals with Congress and all that. So it probably would get down to about this 500 billion amount she's talking about. If it ever happens. Yeah.
Son, let me remind people how this shit work, right? Down here, we all know that it was a ballot initiative for felons to have their rights restored to be able to vote, right?
Yeah.
It passed overwhelmingly. It wasn't 51%, right? It was well over that. Cool. Sounds good. Let's celebrate pop bottles. The legislature then turned around and said, well, you just want to party? You're going to have to pay to get in. And, we searched the books and, you're still in debt. So, yeah, you, in theory, had your rights restored, but you can't participate because they set the rules. So let's
Yep.
just also keep that.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with Streets
I
here.
don't
Percent banks are.
know that Rob
Oh, sorry. Say that again. You cut out.
in trouble because I personally don't know if they're in trouble because it needs to be part of the controlled inflation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think what they're doing is they're not admitting this is what they're doing, but they're running the man. Why come I can't remember what it's called? MMT. They're literally running a form of MMT right now. They're just playing with the numbers and saying it's whatever they want it to be, and because the military is strong enough, that's how they enforce it and make it happen. They're like, no, this is how it's going to work. I owe you 100. You're going to take 25. That's kind of what they're doing when it gets to, because I mean the U.S. is so overloaded. The moment that things get bad, I'm talking about like World War III, and let's say it doesn't go straight to a nuclear level, but it's just at the war stages where we're fighting back and forth. You know, there's bombing campaigns going back and forth, different parts of the world. First thing's going to happen is all products that are coming from overseas are going to be cut off. First thing. And so you're going to be looking at massive shortages and shortages, and not only with food, different supplies, everything. And so it's going to be crazy. And then I think that it's going to be a lot more attacks on the power grid and things like that. And so it's going to start off just like this with all kind of pandemonium. That's saying if it doesn't escalate really fast. But the amount of pandemonium is going to send, shockwaves through the system, and instantly the real debt that this country is in will be manifested like overnight, instantly. When USDC.
Well, let me ask you this.
People don't even
Let me ask you this concept. Let me ask you about this concept of right as we understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So, the private bankers who operate these central banks lend money to big central governments, right?
Right.
They own them.
Correct.
Okay. So, really, this concept, it's almost like it's like I got all this money. I came to your crib. I took over your crib. I made you my employee, and I give you money, and then I charge you interest on it. Then I say you're in debt to who? It's all my money. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird how we operate in this system because the money all belongs to them anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I try to explain to people when they say, like, when I hear people talking about nationalizing the banks, you're under the impression that the banks don't have power over the system. You're thinking like Congress can actually do something with the system. For one, you'd have to be able to take over Congress to even enact any of that. I mean, the banks is what keep everything going, literally. They keep everything going. I mean, most of these major corporations don't even have the cash on hand. I mean, in fact, most banks, if you go, like, let's say, for instance, any of us had, like, let's say millions. Let's say you were sitting on 50 million. And you say, you know what, I'm going to the bank. I'm taking my 25 million out of the bank. You know how long it would take for you to get that money? Because they don't have it. In fact, let's take it lower than that. Let's say you want to take $1 million out of the bank. Maybe, depending on where you are, they might have it.
Now, another question I have, and maybe somebody can answer it for me, right? Because I'm not smart enough to know this stuff. But are we in? Does that number, whatever it is, trillions of dollars in debt, right? Whatever the ultimate number is, right?
It's like
Is that what
20.
we're not paying?
Well,
Yeah.
what it
Are we
is
not? Are we not paying on that debt, or is it we just have like a million black cards out there? You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like we just our credit card just look. Some people spend differently. You know what I'm saying? You might have a $50,000 max. My shit is like 50 trillion. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, see what happens is, like, for instance, even like government spending, like for the military, a check is just straight cut, and that check goes to weapons manufacturers and this and that, and then our tax dollars go, and then it goes into the budget to try to balance off the money that's already been loaned to us. Not to mention tariffs and things like that when they're coming in, and then you still got to deal with the inflation of the goods and services that are going on too. So we're literally borrowing money. Well, not we. The government is literally spending money that they actually do not have. And the amount of money that are taxes and stuff that are coming in, those taxes are paying the salaries of FBI and all these government employees and all that. And it might be paying, different projects here and there. But most of the money that's actually being spent is being borrowed straight from, the Federal Reserve, IMF, places like that. It's literally just straight borrowing the money. And the money that's coming in, it's just paying taxes. I mean, it's going to their salaries, basically.
Yeah, like I said, it's to me, when I break it down to like the most basic of levels, it doesn't make any sense. It's just shit that,
it doesn't.
It's just all talk and shit to make you confused, and so that you start thinking about the debt of the nation as opposed to, like, keep in mind, right? Debt. Oh my God, spending. Military, 800 billion. Here you go.
Well, here's the thing. You know about the housing crash with the derivative default swaps, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing that was going on. People was like, yo, so I'm going to buy this house or I'm going to buy this stock for this amount of money. And some of them, there were houses, some were different other commodities. We're buying this, and then we're going to buy this insurance. So no matter how much money I put out there, I get paid back on the insurance. So what they did is they were paid, like the first handful of people that came more fastest, they paid those people for the insurance that they had in case, their bets went awry. And then what they did is all the rest of the people, they're like, yo, sorry, I know you paid for insurance to take care of this, but we ain't got you. It's kind of like a job that's all of a sudden like, yo, I know you worked the last 2 weeks, 80 hours, but we really can't afford to pay you. That's kind of what they did. And so we're sitting, our whole entire system is basically set like this. And the only thing that's keeping it up is because okay, you might have, okay, I see you. Okay, I see email that just got from you. And I'll respond to you, Hemcar. But this is what's going on. They're literally just playing, and when they took everything off the gold standard and silver, all that, that's the reason why people like Ron Paul, he was always talking about it, but that's the reason why other people before him, like even Ross Perot, were really banging on things like that, because they're like, yo, you're basically playing Monopoly funny money games. You're not even playing with real money anymore. And all it would take is for us to lose our military might. The moment the U.S. loses its military might, they can't play the game they're playing anymore. That's what I'm saying. World War III, it would expose so many things.
Drug money.
Correct, Thomas. Correct.
comment? I'm trying to look that up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said there's a technical glitch. Streets, you saying that they have the funds? Is that what the thought process is?
Make sure I keep an eye on the time clock. Oh, wait a minute, that's right. It's not like
I know we up to 50.
Late to the other one. It's not like if we run late to the other stream, it'd be a big deal because I have it set up where we can, we can go in late, don't matter. Well, I think it's Facebook the only one that will trip on my links, and I can always drop that when there's a pain in the ass. The street says buy food, ammo. This shit's getting real out here. Get prepared. This is what I mean. The streets is somebody out there who's been talking about this. Baba definitely has been talking about this. There's a couple of y'all that have been talking about this. We have been talking about this for some time, and now we're starting to see it start to come to a head. And I mean, unless you're the type where you think that you're going to, I don't know, like the Walking Dead people who go around and hunt all the other people who have supplies in a safe place, and that's what you plan on doing. I mean, if that's what you're gonna do, hey, I'm
Did you watch The Last of Us?
I still haven't caught it yet. I just finished up watching The Following again, so I'll go and I'll go and check it out. Which honestly, they really needed to do another. They needed to do another season. In fact, they need to just bring it back. They easily could bring back. Yes. It's an older show. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It was on Fox. But,
no, I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
Man, that used to be my shit. But yeah,
Fox had a couple of over the years,
Mm-hmm. I always wanted to get in and watch 24, but literally on there they got 24 per season. And I'm like, ooh, that's a lot to have to try to catch up on.
That first season of 24 was like crack.
I don't know. I might. I'm one of those people. I'm lazy as far as finding new shows.
Yo, did you see that Boosie video where he was talking about crack and fentanyl? When he was like, he was like, yeah, he was like, oh yeah, I advocate for crack, not fentanyl. He was like, fentanyl killing all the junkies. We've been junkies for years. Yo, he was going off. That shit was hilarious, kid.
Wow. Better way, but it's funny how everyone wants to.
Oh damn, Baba going in on her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the lady at all. At all. Let's see. What did he say? I watched Ians and Hesh. Good scene in there about a group of people handing out leaflets on chemtrails at the end of the military or the hospitals 2008. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of stuff out there. I don't know if you guys said it. I mean, I plug other shows all the time, but I typically don't plug a specific episode. I might make a post for it on here so everybody can see it. But AM Wake Up the other day had an episode that I recommend everybody go and see. It was with Corey. What was that guy's name that I sent you? Corey something. It was talking about the JFK assassination. And man, he went deep. And I did an episode of Memory Hole with Steve. I don't know if he put it up or not. I gotta get back to him and see. But the episode of Memory Hold, that one, I went in kind of loosely talking about about some of the Kennedy assassination, stuff like that, and some of the ties and everything. But this dude really went in. And he connects a whole lot of stuff. And if you don't understand the Kennedy assassination, you'll have a hard time understanding most of the stuff that's going on right now. So definitely go check out Hey, babe. Hopefully you're having fun out there. Liz is in the chat. She out having some drinks with the girls. I see. Oh, Chris said hi. Okay, cool. Thank you.
What up? One day I'm gonna just pop up at one of y'all like outings and shit.
She keeps telling you to come, so you
I'm
gotta
gonna
be
be like,
careful.
that look like Chris. You know,
To set you up like 15 different people. So well, she gonna try to sing you back with something.
Nah. No, I'll go back by myself.
All right, but everybody, I think we hit all our topics on this first stream. It's about time to switch over to the Rockfin, and start this battle. So, oh yeah, I think for Hebrew apologetics, I might have a stream tomorrow. Me and Liz, we might be going out somewhere fun tomorrow, and I gotta make sure I have plenty of room for my camera because it's gonna be. I don't know. I just say look for me to post something interesting on my other channel about it. And I got some events that are coming up here in the LA area that I'm gonna put up some tech seminar stuff, whatever that I've been looking at. And I definitely I'm gonna go out to the Big Blue Scientology building one of these days. So definitely, check that one out. I think me and
shit, I used to.
Yeah.
I used to work at their, right across the street from them. I watched them all the time.
Not that kind of fun, Yipper. Calm yourself. But yeah, so it's time for us to hop on over there so we catch the stream on time. I set it up two streams.
Going to rocks, y'all.
It helps with getting more videos up. And then also I figured it's separated that way for those who they're like, man, I don't care. I don't want to hear what y'all listen to music wise. I just want to hear, the stories and the news. Then I separated it. So, but yes, make sure at this point now, everybody start heading over to Rockfin. For everybody who tuned in for this one, who won't be joining us on Rockfin, I appreciate everybody for joining us. And we will see you guys on the other side. Oh, yeah, by the way, I got an interview next week. I wanted to plug that next week, next Sunday. Yona will be on, and I'll have Octo Squid on. He's on the ground in East Palestine. And Yona has been doing some underground reporting at Dow Chemicals in West Virginia. So make sure to check that out for next week. And I got a couple more stuff going on. But yes, follow us over to the Rockfin. We'll see you guys over there.